and you're watching NDTV Prime in association with Micromax. Nothing like anything.
Hi, and welcome to On Art. We're a magazine show where each week we explore the chaotic, complex, creative world of Indian art. Tonight, textile artist Nidhi Khurana uses everyday materials to make fabric dye. Mumbai-based artist Hemali Bhuta tells me why she thinks her artworks are dead, and in exhibition, their aftermath. Then, we go to Gallery Exhibit 320, which is featuring a great show with 3 totally different artists. As ever, we'll hear from Reshil Charles about Mojarto.com, and we'll tell you about some events that are coming up in the art world this month. This is On Art. In our first story tonight, we meet Nidhi Khurana, who just got back from Mexico and since then has started incorporating dried bugs into her work. Want to know how? Keep watching. Nidhi Khurana works in Delhi, often on large-scale textiles and carpets. Lately, she has found herself in fabric dyeing. Taking onion skins or pomegranate seeds or leaves she finds on a hike and turning them into a pigment. Much of this was inspired by a recent residency.
I went to Mexico recently to a place called Oaxaca, and I realized that they have a very rich tradition of natural dyes, similar to India. While I'm dyeing the fabric, I'm just focused on dyeing it, like when I'm experimenting. Let's say when I'm using a particular color for the first time, like I had tried onion skins recently, and of course I've read about it, how it gives color. But when you actually put the cloth in it, and the cloth turns a particular color, it's more of a feeling-oriented process than a thinking process for me, because I'm interacting more with the color, the intensity, and what I can do with this color once it comes out, rather than the chemical process. I know a lot of people who approach this thing of dyeing. Of course, it is a chemical process, no? It's a lot of chemistry.
Since visiting Mexico, she has worked a great deal with cochineal, an insect that produces a red dye when dried. She has assembled these experiments in color on her wall in various arrangements, giving herself the chance to see how her own work in this medium has evolved.
Right now, I'm in the process of documenting it, and I'm using my own work process to document this new material that I'm now engaging with. Immediately, I'm doing a new work, which is an extension of the last work that I did, the Constellation series. So Constellations is an idea, like I told you before, started as a constellation is a map, no? Like in ancient times, people used to follow or reach places by looking at the sky. So it started as an idea of a map. So this is a map. So continuing from there, this is a mapping of my own practice, like of my own work or of my own experiment with the various dyes that I'm using. I'm going to have a constellation work with using just cochineal. So it'll be different shades of pink, red, orange, purple in one composition.
Nidhi makes a stamp instead of using paint when she wants to add detail to her fabric.
So this is a woodcut print. It's basically a piece of wood, MDF board, which has been cut into to make the mirror image map of Mexico. And if you see, this is a print that I took off this board, and prints out like this. So this is the actual way the map of Mexico looks, but to print it in that way, we have to make a mirror image of it. This cotton has been dyed in cochineal, and then the print has been taken on top of it. And then there are color accents with the help of embroidery. These dots they represent the cochineal, the bug. The bugs look like this.
Fabric dyeing is a long, invested process, and an imperfect one. Rarely will two homemade pigments turn out the same. But for Nidhi Khurana, it is part of a larger effort to make our lives a little less synthetic.
I think where we are going, we are losing a sense of where things come from. Like, if whatever I'm wearing, I have no idea where it's coming from. Like, do I know? And what I'm eating, do I know where it's coming from? Like, where is it grown? I mean, the fact that you have, so that's why I'm growing my own food on the terrace, because I want to know what I'm eating and where it's coming from, what's going into it. So my artwork is very much related to what I do in my life and vice versa.
Tucked away in South Delhi's Lado Sarai neighborhood is a gallery called Exhibit 320. It just opened a show that features works that seem really, really different. We visited the gallery to find out what brings them together. In Delhi's Lado Sarai neighborhood, you can see a new show at Gallery Exhibit 320. The space brings together quite different artists in an exhibition titled Unfolding a Scene.
Unfolding a Scene actually brings together three practices, three artists, Mariam Ghani from Afghanistan, Riaz Komo, of course, based here in India, and Mustafa Zaman from Bangladesh. So essentially, the show is actually looking at three bodies of work that speak to this one particular idea, that is how we look at the body and the self within both a contemporary scenario, you know, whether it's like social or political or cultural issues that are current, and, you know, going into a more philosophical sort of strain of thought. So you look at the work and there are different words that, you know, there are opposites, they're sometimes in conflict with each other, you know, like Swaraj and control, for example. And then what was interesting is how it's relevant to the current scenario that we have here, you know, with what's going on in the country and probably in the broader sense with the world. And then you move into someone like Mustafa Zaman, a young artist coming from, you know, Bangladesh, based out of Dhaka, started out as a journalist, and, you know, and then how his own inquiries, his own questions as, you know, a journalist based in Dhaka, dealing with again, issues of identity.
Giving a platform to emerging and established artists is part of Exhibit 320's larger ethos.
So I think an artist like Mariam Ghani from Afghanistan, it's the first time she's ever exhibited in India. So there are artworks here that you will never see in India, and it's kind of like pushing the boundaries for us to show these artists. I started out myself as a young collector, very, very young collector, and I felt that there were gaps in the system, there were many potholes, and the same artist was being shown again and again at different spaces. And I just felt the need to see more, because in a country like ours, there is so much quality artwork that's happening. They just don't get a chance to show their work.
But it's equally crucial to ignite conversations and find new, dynamic points within the familiar.
So what I want for an audience to, you know, come is to, you know, to sort of, for them to not expect something and to make connections that don't exist, right? So you look at three works and they look really different visually, and there's something that connects it. I'd love for those kinds of things to come out of the work as well, and make their own connections that I might not have seen either.
Unfolding a Scene at Exhibit 320 is a really great show, and if you're in Delhi, I highly recommend you go see it. Can't make it? Or want to know what else to do? Then keep watching. Here are your upcoming events for the week. Delhi, there are two great events coming up at India Habitat Center. First, on April 16th, 1469 presents Mela Pulkari. There, filmmaker Imtiaz Ali will talk about his cinema and the hinterland of Punjab. Also at India Habitat Center, Gallery Ganesha has curated a show called Roti Beti. It's a solo exhibition of paintings by Uma Shankar Shah. In Bangalore, don't miss works by artists Abir Karmakar and Sunil Padwal on display at the gallery. The show closes April 23rd and features incredible work on both surveillance and cities. Hyderabad, get a taste of Bengal at the Royal Bengali Food Festival, happening April 14th to the 17th at Aish the Park in Hyderabad. You can enjoy delectable and traditional feasts and explore the uniqueness of every dish from the state. In Pune, go see the Rambo Circus. It's a first-of-its-kind event featuring spellbinding feats from Indian artists, as well as visitors from Uzbekistan, Nepal, Ethiopia, and Colombia. The circus is on from April 11th to the 24th. With so many art events coming up, one thing is clear. April is a great month to be an art lover. There's more on art coming up, but first, you take a quick break and we will too.